Hello Year 9, welcome back to our final lesson on our urbanisation topic. Today's lesson is called Sustainable Living, a Dilemma. And you're going to today explain the ways in which urban areas can be made more sustainable. So our key terms for this lesson are stakeholder. Now this is a person that has an interest or a concern in something, especially a business. Okay, so we're going to do a quiz. You know how this works, so I'm going to show you the questions and you're going to write down the answers. Here we go. Okay, so there you go, 9 questions. Pause the video now and answer them. Okay guys, here are your answers, so get your green pens ready and write them down. Here we go. Okay, so in front of you, you've got an image of a proposed regeneration project in Edmonton, Canada. You can see lots of things that actually link with sustainable living. So, using figure 1, can you identify features of the planned project which suggest it is an example of sustainable urban area? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to write down on our paper or on our laptops the answers to this, and it's all about your thoughts and your opinions. Now, usually we'd give out a worksheet for you to write on, but as we can't do that, I just want you to write it into your books. So first of all, can you please write this down into your book? So copy this diagram here. You don't have to do the arrows, but as long as you write that down as your key question. So the key question is, attempts to make UK cities more sustainable have been successful. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at different people's opinions, other stakeholders' opinions, and decide whether that statement here is correct. Okay, so we're going to analyse it. So first of all, I want you to write that question down, that statement down, and then I want you to write your thoughts on that. So you're going to write, to start with, I think that. Do you agree with that statement? Okay. Is there any evidence you want to put in to that? Looking at last lessons, our previous lessons. So do you think that attempts to make UK cities more sustainable have been successful? Yeah? Right. I'm going to show you an example. This is what I've put. So I put, attempts to make UK cities more sustainable have been a success. For example, recycling is happening across the country. So that's my point. I've given my point. Now I'm going to extend that. This has been a success as less waste goes to landfill. Now I'm going to develop it further. And so the countryside and habitats are protected. So this is what I'd like you to do. I want you to really use a chain of reason for all of your answers today. Okay, so what I want you to do is think about the statement. You know, attempts to make UK cities more sustainable have been a success. I want you to keep that in your mind. But I want you just to forget about everything you know about sustainability. Okay, pretend you don't know anything. You haven't been taught it. Then I want you to read the 6 stakeholders' opinions, and you'll see these in a minute. When you read them, I want you then to think, does it make you think that attempts to make UK cities sustainable have been a success? And I want you to use a chain of reason. So here's an example. So we're going to look at this lady here. Her name is Jane, and she lives in Liverpool. She is a resident, a local person, just local person who lives there. What does she say about Liverpool and whether it's sustainable? Let's have a look. Cycle routes, bus lanes and public transport are not working. A government study in 2018 indicated that the use of the car is increasing. This is due to the unreliability, rising cost of public transport, and sometimes the inconvenience. For example, in the morning you must stand on the bus in Liverpool, and sometimes buses go past without stopping. They are too full. So, what do you think her response to that statement is? Does she believe that the attempts to make the cities sustainable are successful? Let's have a look. So I put, the Liverpool resident is that sustainable transport strategies have not been a complete success, as public transport services are overrun and it is difficult to guarantee a seat. This means that people will continue to use the car. But due to the bus lanes, there could be even more congestion, so more air pollution. Therefore, it could be argued that it is making the problem worse. So that's how I would write a response to that stakeholder, Jane. So now we're going to look at the other stakeholders, and I want you to do what I've done. So write your response. Does that person agree or disagree? Here we have the Environmental Minister. She says, energy efficiency is helping the UK massively. The growth in renewable energies such as solar panels on homes and the growth of energy efficient products means that the UK is using less energy today than in 1995. This is reducing CO2 emissions and the cost for people. Pause the video and write your response. This is a water company manager. He says, water conservation does not work. Education and water meters are ignored by some. In fact, we have seen water use increase in the UK with the growth of things such as hot tubs. Most people do not even know their toilets have dual flush and just press both buttons together. Pause the video and write your response. Here we have an urban dweller. He says, urban greening, so that means planting more green areas and trees and plants, not only encourages the growth in urban habitats and the protection of endangered insects such as bees, it also encourages people to stay fit. Pause the video and write your response. Here we have a recycling centre manager. He says, waste recycling is a massive help as it reduces the amount of waste that ends up in landfill. This protects the rural-urban fringe. We cannot keep putting our waste in these areas as they are simply running out of space and destroying the countryside. Pause the video and write your response. This is Jane from Liverpool. We looked at her before, so I'm not going to read it out to you. Pause the video and write your response. This is a Green Party councillor. He says, recycling in many UK cities is not happening. The plants which are supposed to recycle the products do not have the equipment to separate and clean the waste. Due to this problem, only 50% of the recycling waste is recycled. Pause the video and write your response. So for the last activity, I want you to put all of your information together, and I want you to look back at your opinion right at the start. So do you still believe that attempts to make urban areas are successful or not? So did your opinion change? If not, who had the most persuasive point to make you consider changing your mind? Explain that. So, did the Environmental Minister make you change your mind? Or did Jane make you change your mind? And what were the reasons for that? Which person makes you think that attempts to make UK cities more sustainable has been a complete failure? Explain. Use a chain of reason. And which person puts forward the best argument to suggest that UK cities are sustainable? Explain. Then I want you to do the challenge. So, do you think it is possible for urban areas to be truly classified as sustainable? Explain your answers.